Hello guys, am I audible now? Am I audible now? Is it audible now? Do let me know, guys. Is it, am I audible now? Now also no, nothing. Is it audible? Okay, cool. Yes. Hello Larika, hello Abinya, hello Sarat, hello RP, Amrita, hello Krishna, hello Hemlata, hello Francis, Jai Ganesh, Krishna, Bhavna, hello Darshan, hello Drashya, hello Sarat, hello Satna. Good. Afternoon. Finally, it is audible. Okay, so I'll just repeat what I just said, and probably, thank God I saw the chat, or else I would have just continued. Okay, so guys, welcome to the NCERT Intext Questions session. And now this session is particularly very important because over the years, what I have seen the trend is NTA paper setters ask questions directly from NCERT as well. Not complete paper is from NCERT, but obviously many questions are there from NCERT in text, your summary points between the lines, and also your exercise. So we must do these questions. So I have collected few questions which are very crucial for your NEET exam. Obviously not all the in-text questions are important. So I'll be showing you all those questions, plus we'll be discussing few of them. Some questions might be in detail, some questions I'll be giving you the idea of how to proceed, because usually students face in some problems in particular questions, and any doubt you have, please feel free to ask while the session is going on. Okay, so welcome to the Physics NCERT in-text questions for your NEET 2024, and this is your none other than Captain Shreyas. Yes, welcome. All the warrior pandus are whistle poding. Very good Guna, very good. Thank you so much guys for all the love, and I hope you have marked your attendance by smashing the like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, because when you subscribe, only then you will get the next video, the next update, and obviously all the academic content. You will not lose it. Okay, this is your #1 English channel in the country for NEET aspirants, right? So let's get started. And before we proceed, one quick important update for all of you, especially if you are in Chennai. Remember, the event in Chennai is happening on 23rd, that is this Tuesday, from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock for all the NEET aspirants of 2024. Now, what is this workshop? This workshop is meant to boost your score by at least 100 marks. Yes, and there is also a mock test which is going to follow after this on the next day. So it's actually a workshop. It's not one single lecture or one single class. It's a proper workshop, and we will be there. Me, Shimon sir, your entire NEET English team is going to be there for your preparation to be boosted in that particular workshop. So you will find the registration details in the description box. Make sure as you are watching this particular video, right, you go to the description box as well and register for this event for absolutely free of cost. Remember that this particular event is absolutely free of cost. You can see Tamil Nadu registration, over here. Enter your phone number and your details, and that's it. So the seats are limited. That's the reason why I'm asking you to register, because it's a free event, right? So that's the reason why I'm asking you to register, because it's not like a walk-in entry. And yes, you are free to get in your parents also. And the best part is one-on-one mentorship, which is going to happen, right? Also, remember, if you are not in Chennai, no issues. In the description box, I have put a link for All India Mock Test Series. Make sure you are giving that All India Mock Test, again, absolutely free of cost. The same description box, there is a link, All India Mock Test. The next mock test is happening on this Sunday, okay? So make sure you are giving that mock test, again, absolutely free of cost. These are predictor tests, correct? Very good. So let's go on. Yep. Yes, I'll be doing videos for NEET 2025 too also. No problem, Krishna. Maybe next event you will be there. Next event. Okay, so in units and dimensions, what are the important questions? In NCERT, look at this question. Half mv square is mgh, m is the mass of the body, v is the speed, etc. Check whether the equation is dimensionally correct. Now, From NEET point of view, understand, you can't get such a simple question. If you get it, it is very easy. Obviously, half mv square is kinetic energy, mgh is potential energy, energy, dimensions should match. In boards, you will have to use long steps. But what kind of question can be asked in NEET is, something like half mv square is equal to mgh. Then maybe mv is equal to gh m square, something like that. And then mv square into 2 is equal to, m square g into h. Which of these equations are dimensionally incorrect? And maybe one of these option could be none of these. So obviously you can see over here that this is incorrect, this is incorrect, this is correct, this is obviously not going to be correct. So this is the only dimensionally correct equation, others are incorrect, because we know mv is momentum. So momentum will not be like mgh and m square with it, because mgh itself is energy, m square obviously won't have the dimensions of momentum. So if you know the formulas, it becomes easier to solve those questions. So those kind of questions can come in NEET examination. That's what you should understand from this particular question. Is that clear, everybody? Shall we go ahead? Okay. So yes, this is dimensionally correct. There is no doubt about it. But obviously this can't come the way it is presented over here. It can come with options. Yes. Okay. All right. Yes, we'll be doing a video for NCERT exercise also, Kirti, but let me tell you, in-text questions also do come, a lot of them, and we'll be doing for exercise also. Next is this one. Pendulum is there and it oscillates. Period of oscillation depends on the length, mass, acceleration. Derive an expression. So derivation of an expression is a very common question, like force depends on area, velocity, density, and so and so. What is the relationship? Or kinetic energy depends on mass, this, that. What is the relationship? So in these kind of questions, always you will assume the asked variable, which is the time period, is some constant into the dependent variables raised to some powers. So dependent variables are mass raised to x, length raised to y, and gravity raised to basically z. This is the step that you will have to use. And time period has the dimension of time, constant is dimensionless, mass has the dimension of m, length has the dimension of l, right? And gravity has the dimension of length raised to 1, t raised to minus 2. So this is raised to x, this is raised to y, this is raised to z. So now compare LHS and RHS and then get the dimensional formula. Basically here you can see there is no m's power, m raised to 0. L's power is also basically 0 only. So x will be 0, x will be 0. From here length's power will be y plus z. So you have to make equations. You have to make equations for x, y and z and solve it to get the answer. Solve it to get the answer by comparing the powers. By comparing the powers. By comparing the powers. Everybody understood? So this is a very, very important question. This is a very, very important question, right? So these are the most important questions in your units and dimensions which you must do. So the solution I have put it over here. In kinematics, this equation or this question is again very important. X is given as a function of time. A and B values are given. What is the speed at this time? What is the speed between this and this time? Average and instantaneous, both questions are asked. So for the first part, you will just differentiate dx by dt. So the derivative of a plus bt square. A is a constant, so 0. B is a constant, bring it outside. T square's derivative is 2t. So it will be 2bt will be the velocity. And what is the velocity at 0 seconds? What is the velocity at 2 seconds? So if you substitute 0 and if you substitute 2, what is the value of velocity that you get? You will get 0 and over here you will get 4b. Over here you will get basically 4b. Time has 2 into 2, 4 times of b. B value is already given. That's how you can solve the first part. That's how you can solve the first part. For the second part, what will you do? Average velocity is asked. So for average velocity, what will you do? You will find the displacement. You will find the displacement. So displacement is, final position minus initial position. Substitute time as 2, substitute time as 0 and subtract them. So when you substitute time as 2, so it will become a plus b into 2 square minus substitute time as 0, you will just get a will cancel, it will become 4b. So displacement is 4b, so average velocity will be nothing but 4 times of b divided by the time interval. Oh sorry, it was not 0 and 2, my bad, it was 2 and 4, sorry, 2 and 4. So the displacement was x4 minus x2, so put time as 4 first, then put time as 2. So it will be a plus b into 4 square minus a plus your b into time. Time is basically 2, so 2 square. A will cancel, so you will have b into 16 minus 4, which is basically 12 times of b. So average velocity will be displacement divided by the time interval. Time interval is 2 seconds, so it will be 6 times of b. B value is given. So that's all you had to do in this particular question. 6 times of b, which is 15. So in this question, average velocity is different, instantaneous velocity is different. Instantaneous means derivatives, average means displacement. Displacement means change in the position. That's what you need to do, right? Yep, very good. Cool. Shall we go ahead to the next important question which can be asked? A ball is thrown up with some speed from the top of a building. The height of the point where the ball is thrown is this much. How high will the ball rise? How long before it hits the ground? So in this kind of question, ball is thrown up from the top of a building and the height of the building is also given to be 25 meters. Okay, so if you throw the ball up like this with a speed of 20 meters per second, so how high will the ball rise and how much time will it take? For this height, for this particular height, you can directly use u square by 2g formula. Correct? U square by 2g formula, that's all. Because this is like your normal projectile vertical motion problem. So u is given, g is given, that's it. To find the time to come down, you can use s is equal to ut plus half into at square. So displacement is minus 25 because it is coming down. U is basically initial speed, which is 20. Time I don't know. Half into acceleration is down, so minus 10 into t square. Can you see this is a quadratic equation? Can you see this is a quadratic equation in time? That's it. Solve it and you will get the value of time. Solve it and you will get the value of time. That's all you need to do in this particular question. You will get the time as 5 seconds and the maximum height as 20. So you will substitute it as 20. This is 2 and this is basically 10. Obviously this will become 20. Is that right, everyone? Cool? Yeah. Yes, there will be a separate in-text question for chemistry also. Yep. Definitely. Next week it is coming. Okay, cool. I hope you are understanding that I am giving you the key ideas for solving the problem, because if I sit and solve the entire thing, it will probably take 1 day or something. Okay, that is not the whole point. You have to understand what are the key ideas at this point of time. Very limited time is there. So let's understand all the important problems, all the important key ideas and the concepts. Moving on. Rain is falling down. Wind starts blowing with some speed east to west. What direction? This was also a very important question. So guys, if rain is falling down with a speed of 35 and wind is blowing with a speed of 12 like this, so what will happen? The net velocity of the rain will be like this. This will be the relative velocity of the rain. Question is, what direction should the boy hold the umbrella who is standing at the bus stop? So now you can measure this angle. Basically tan theta will be opposite side, which is 35, divided by adjacent side, which is 12, if you measure it from the horizontal. But if by chance you measure it from the vertical, then tan theta, because if this is theta, this will be theta, tan theta will be nothing but 12 by 35. So accordingly you will get the answer. If it is asked with the vertical, use this. If it is asked with the horizontal, you will use this. So answer is exactly that. Tan inverse of 12 by 35 or 35 by 12, depending on which reference line you are taking. Okay, that is the idea behind this. Position of a particle is given by this. Seconds, coefficients have appropriate powers. velocity, acceleration, magnitude and the direction of the velocity at 1. So because this is position, velocity will be nothing but dr by dt, acceleration will be nothing but dv by dt. So differentiate this 2 times, you will get the answer for each of these things. When you differentiate this, you will get 3 I cap, because times derivative is 1, 2 plus t square's derivative is 2t, so 4t j cap. Take the derivative of this also, it will become 0 I cap's coefficients, 4t's derivative is 1, so 4 j cap, that's it. So find the velocity and acceleration done, find the magnitude and the direction of velocity at time is time 1 seconds. So when you put time as 1 second, put the value of t also as 1 second. So 3 I cap plus 4 j cap. 3 I cap plus 4 j cap, that is it. So if you find the magnitude of it, it will be nothing but 3 square plus 4 square, which is nothing but 5 meters per second. And 3 I cap means horizontal, 4 j cap means vertical. So it will be basically like this. It will be basically like this, and you can also note down this angle will be nothing but 53 degree, because this is a special triangle 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5 special triangle. So this angle with the horizontal should be 53 degree. Directly you can put it up. Yes, that is how the answer is. Cool. Shall we go ahead? Yeah. How to put direction? Remember, what are these kind of questions? These are subjective questions in text. In NEET, what will happen? They will give you options. They'll tell you, it makes an angle of 53 degree with x-axis. It makes an angle of 37 degree with y-axis. Some kind of options they will give you. So, based on the options or based on what is asked, obviously, you will accordingly solve. Obviously, understand guys, these are all in NCERT subjective based, but they convert it into an objective question. They won't ask you everything in one question. Either they will ask you magnitude, or they will ask you direction, or they will ask you velocity, or they will ask you acceleration. So one question you will get. You can't get all the questions in one single NEET question. Understood? Everyone? Clear? Awesome. Awesome. Let's move on to the next one coming up on your screen. Particle is going xy plane. Acceleration is this much. What is the coordinate at when x coordinate is this much and the speed of the particle at this time? See, this is a 2D question where acceleration is given and the x coordinate is given to be this much. So use kinematic equations in x and y separately in this. Sx is ux time plus, let's say if I use half ax t square, this is basically 84. Ux, initial velocity, is given to be 5 clearly. Time, I don't know. Acceleration is basically 3. This is also given. Solving this, you will get the value of time. So this is the time at which the coordinate is 84 meters, which is the x coordinate. Once I get this time, we can find the y coordinate. Similarly, sy is equal to uy. Uy is 0 because there is no y velocity only. So 0 into the time plus half ay. Ay is this, which is 2, into whatever time you get over here, that particular time square, that will give you the y coordinate. That is the logic behind this question. And what is the speed of the particle at this time? Well, for this particular part, use v is equal to u plus at. V is equal to u plus at. Initial velocity is just 5 I cap. Acceleration is this much. So 3 I cap plus 2 j cap multiplied by the time value that you get. Whatever time value that you get, you put it over here. You will get something I cap and something j cap. That is your velocity. Take the mod value by taking squares, adding them, putting in the root. That will give you the speed of the particle. That will give you the speed of the particle. Got it? Everyone? Perfecto. Let's move on to the next one. Here it is. A hiker stands on the edge of a cliff and throws a stone horizontally, neglecting a resistance. Find the time taken by the stone to reach the ground and the speed. So these kind of questions where you are throwing a projectile from some height and it goes and falls over here, the time of flight is directly given by root of 2h by g. So that will give you the time taken. That will directly give you the time taken. And for the speed, what is the formula? It is just u square plus 2gh under the root. U square plus 2gh under the root. That will give you the speed with which it hits the ground. Right? Direct application of formula is what you will see. Exactly. Root of 2h by g and the same thing which I have told you over here. Is that right? Let's move ahead. Yep. 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 Very good. Very good. The lecture notes are available in the treasure box. If you see the treasure box, right, it is there in that, in the treasure box. Okay, in the treasure box. Now, where is the treasure box? There is a description box. The description box has many links. In that, you open up treasure box. In that, you will see PDFs, old classes, video links, PYQs, practice papers. Everything is there in that particular treasure box. Yeah. Okay, notes also, lecture notes also are available. Right. Moving on to the next one. If the ball is thrown at some angle with some speed, calculate the maximum height, time taken, and the distance from the thrower to the point where the ball returns at the same level. Basically, height formula, time taken formula, and the range formula. This is range, this is basically your height, and this is basically time. What is the range formula? 2u sine theta cos theta divided, 2u square sine theta cos theta divided by g. Height formula is u square sine square theta by 2g. Time formula is 2u sine theta by g. That's all. That's all you need to do for solving these questions. Okay, so direct question which is there. So maximum height formula, time formula, and range formula. So this means the distance from the point where you throw and where it lands. So that distance is basically your range. That's all you need to do. Yep, yep. Very good, very good. All right. Lakshana, NTA sample paper, I think it's one old paper. There is no point solving it so much because first of all, some questions are also out of syllabus. But yeah, if you want the solution, you can find it also easily on the internet. But we'll probably try to put those questions in one of our mock test papers when we solve it on YouTube. That's something what we can do. Thank you, Pranav. Okay. Insect is trapped in a circular groove of radius, moves along the groove, completes 7 revolutions. What is angular speed, linear speed, acceleration, magnitude? So, first of all, if it covers 7 revolutions in 100 seconds, so one revolution it will cover in 100 by 7, 100 by 7, right? So from this, you can find the angular speed. It's nothing but the number of radians per second. Now remember, one revolution is basically 2 pi radians. 2 pi radians. So basically, think about it like this. If one revolution is 2 pi radians, and this 2 pi radians it is covering in 100 by 7 seconds. So the angular speed, which is nothing but expressed in radians per second, should be nothing but 2 pi radians divided by 100 by 7. That's it. You take it on the top, it will become 2 into pi divided by 100 multiplied by 7. Pi is nothing but 22 by 7. 100 comes as it is. 7 is there here. 7 cancels. And then you will get this as 44 by 100. That is your angular speed. That is your basically angular speed. Once you know angular speed, you can find the linear speed because it is omega r. R is basically 12. R is basically 12. Next thing, what is the acceleration vector? Is the acceleration vector a constant vector? The answer is no, because in a circular motion, what happens is, first the acceleration is here towards the center, then the acceleration is towards the center here, then it is here. So basically the magnitude is constant, but the direction is obviously not a constant. The direction is obviously not a constant. Keep that in mind, right? So that is something which you need to understand. And what is the magnitude? The magnitude is nothing but omega square r, or you can also use v square divided by r. Omega you know from here, r is nothing but 12 centimeters converted into meters. That's all you need to do. Yes, that's all that is there in the question, right? So let's go to NLM friction as well now. Here it is. So there is some astronaut who gets separated from his spaceship, accelerating in the space. What is the acceleration of the astronaut at the instant after he's outside the spaceship? Assume that there are no nearby stars. So read the question over here. You will understand what is exactly happening. Read the question. Here in this case, because it's in outer space, there is no nearby stars also. That means there are no planets or masses which can apply gravitational pull on him. So that means there is no net gravitational force. That means there is no net gravitational force on him. So once he's out of the spaceship, what will happen? There will be no force acting on him. So there will be no acceleration. So Based on your Newton's first law, what should happen? The person will continue his journey as it is. Whatever he was doing before, if he was outside, he will just remain outside. He will not, accelerate or decelerate. Nothing will happen. As simple as that. So I think it should be mentioning that. Yeah. So the acceleration is 0. No net force acting on him. Direct kind of question. By the way, these kind of questions are also very conceptual, can come as statement based questions. Yep. Gravitational class notes are not available. Oh, is it? I'll ask the team. Thank you, Krishna. Just put it up in the comment section also. After the lecture ends, definitely I will let the team know. Bullet of certain mass, certain speed enters a heavy wooden block and is stopped after a distance of 60. What is the resistive force exerted by the bullet? So force is nothing but change of the momentum by the time. Change of momentum is 0 minus mv and the time is also given to me. So it is just mv divided by the time. Mass, is it given? Yes. Velocity, is it given? Yes. How much time? Oh, time is not given. So what do we do? Well, I have to not use this equation because time is not given. So I will use basically v square is equal to u square minus 2as. Final velocity 0, initial velocity 90 minus 2 into acceleration multiplied by displacement, which is basically 0.6. From this you will get acceleration. Once I get acceleration, we can find the force. Force is mass into acceleration. Mass acceleration mass is how much? 0.04. From that you will get the value of the force. Acceleration, whatever you get from here, just substitute it here, right? That's how you get it. Because time was not given. If time is given, use delta p by delta t. If it is not given, distance is given, find the acceleration. Mass into acceleration is force, right? We have used kinematic equations in this. That's the logic. Yes, they have also used kinematic equations only. Cool. Read this particular question, guys. Come on, my dear warriors. Next question coming up on your screen. So basically, there is a batsman and he hits back a ball straight in the direction of the bowler without changing the speed. If the mass of the ball is this much, the impulse imparted is. So the ball is coming like this and it is returned back to the bowler like this. So velocity is the same. The mass is just returned back. The impulse is change in momentum. Final momentum, if I call it as mu, initial momentum will also be mu. A lot of people put a minus sign and give the answer as 0. But that's not correct because the problem is final momentum is actually minus mu. Please understand that because of the direction. So when you do the math, it is actually 2 times of mu. So this is the main catch in this kind of question. So you will see that in the solution also. Yes, it should be mv minus mv. So it will become 2 times of that. As simple as that. Okay. So magnitude wise, it is 2 times of the initial momentum. Yep. Very good. Very good. Right. Shall we go ahead? Shall we go ahead? Yep. Here is the next question. Again, this kind of question is also very, very popular question, guys. So imagine basically what is the direction of the force on the wall due to each ball, the ratio of the magnitudes of the impulse exerted by the thing. Now this part is same as the previous part. The ball hits the wall and comes back. So speed remains unchanged, direction changes. So the impulse will be basically 2 times of mu, just like before. In this case, what you will do, resolve it into 2 components, one component here, and the other component perpendicular to it, something like this, perpendicular to it. Listen, this component which is in the y direction is not changing. It is as it is. So there is no change in the momentum in the y direction, but this momentum in the x got reversed, just like this one. So whatever is this horizontal velocity, ux, that got reversed. So in the second case, the momentum is 2 times m, but because of the x component only. So you take the x component of u, because you know the angles, 2m ux will be the answer. Because just like this one where the speed gets reversed, here also this horizontal velocity got reversed. So 2 times m times the horizontal velocity. That's all. Correct. Correct. Yep. Okay, moving on to the next question. Determine the maximum acceleration of the train in which the box is lying on the floor will remain stationary. Coefficient of static friction is also given. So this kind of question, guys, what you will do is static friction coefficient is given. So if it is accelerating, the only reason why it can accelerate is because of friction, and the max value of friction will cause max value of acceleration. Max friction is mu mg. So that's it. This Fs max should be mass into acceleration. This acceleration is also maximum. Clearly now you can see this mass and this mass got cancelled. So I am just left with the max acceleration is nothing but mu times of g. Mu times of g. So you know mu, you know g, that's it. I think the answer should be 1.5. 1.5, yes, 1.5 meters per second square. Force is mass into acceleration. That is your Newton's law of motion. That is your Newton's law of motion. That's it. Cool. Let's move on to the next one. What is the acceleration of the block trolley system? The coefficient of friction between the trolley, etc. is given, and all these things. So in this particular question, my dear warriors, you can directly say that the coefficient and is the acceleration given. What is the acceleration of the block? Acceleration is asked. So it is always the pull minus the opposing force upon the total mass into g. That's it. That is how you can use this trick which I have been telling again and again. The pulling force minus the opposing force upon the total mass. The pulling force over here is basically 30 Newton. The opposing force over here is the kinetic friction, which is Fk, and the total mass 20 and 3. So it will be 20 plus 3 multiplied by g. What is this friction? It is nothing but mu mg. That's all. Mu mg. Use the mass, use the gravity, use the value of coefficient of friction, substitute, you will get the acceleration. You will get the acceleration. Is that right? Very good. Yes. Awesome. 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 Very good. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next question coming up on your screen. And here it is. Cyclist is going on a level road, sharp circular turn without reducing the speed. The coefficient of static friction between the tire and the road is this much. Will the cyclist slip while taking the turn? Well, here the formula that you need to use is maximum speed around a turn is nothing but root of mu rg, if you remember correctly. Root of mu rg. You know the value of mu. Yes, you know the value of mu. You know the value of the radius. Yes. And g value also you know is 10. So from this you will get the maximum speed. The maximum speed I think comes out as probably I don't know, maybe it comes out as some 18. No, it is not 18. I think it comes out as something else, maybe 25 or 5 or something. So maybe it comes out as 5 meters per second or something, and that speed is probably more than that particular speed, like you can see over here. Hence the cyclist will slip. Hence the cyclist will slip. You can also put the values. Mu is 0.1. 0.1 into 10 is 1. Radius is 3. Root 3 is 1.732. 18 kilometers per hour is obviously 5 meters per second, right? So obviously 5 meters per second is more than this. So this value Vmax comes out as a root 3. Root 3. Obviously 18 kilometers per hour. 18 kilometers per hour, and this is 3 meters per second, is more than this. So obviously it will slip. It will slip. You can convert 18 kilometers per hour into meters per second by doing this 5 by 18 meters per second, which will make it 5 meters per second. 5 meters per second obviously is more than root 3. So it has to slip. It has to slip. Correct. Very good. Moving on to the next one. Circular racetrack is banked at some angle. The coefficient of friction between the wheels of a race car and the road is 0.2. What is the optimum speed of the race car to avoid wear and tear of its tires? Maximum permissible speed to avoid slipping. So for this particular racetrack, which is banked at 15 degrees, coefficient of friction is also given. Optimum speed. Remember the formula for optimum speed is basically root rg tan theta. Root rg basically tan of theta. Correct. Root rg basically tan of theta. And next thing is, so substitute the formula, you will get the answer. Next thing is maximum permissible speed to avoid slipping. So maximum speed formula is nothing but root rg mu plus tan theta upon 1 minus mu tan theta. 1 minus mu tan theta. That's it. That is what is going to give you the answer. Okay, straightforward. So maximum speed formula is this, optimum speed formula is this. Everything is given, just have to substitute. Okay, in work per energy. Okay, let's see. So gravitational force acting down, raindrop opposing resistive force. Okay, otherwise determined. Consider a drop which is falling from a height of this. It hits the ground with the speed of this. What is the work done by gravitational force? What is the work done by unknown resistive force? So in this particular question, there is an unknown resistive force, meaning mechanical energy will not be conserved. Yes. From this, how many questions will come? Many questions can come. I expect at least 4 to 10 questions, 4 to 10 questions at least in physics alone. I am telling you, in just physics alone, right? So expect these models, expect these formulas to definitely come. So 4 to 10 questions, 10 into 4 is 40 marks. 40 marks straight away from this session. Cool. So this is also again, you know, based on mechanical, sorry, this is not based on mechanical energy of conservation because of this unknown resistive force. So I'll tell you what is exactly happening over here. The raindrop of certain mass, which is 1 gram, which is 10 to the power minus 3 kg. It is falling from height of 10 to the power 3 meters and it hits the ground with certain speed. How much? 50 meters per second. 50 meters per second. So what is the work done by gravitational force? That is very easy. Work done by gravity is negative change of potential energy. So minus change of potential energy, it has reduced. Potential energy reduced by how much? mgh. So gravity has done mg into h work. Mass, you know, minus 3, g is 10, height is 10 to the power 3. So it will be basically 10 joules. It will be basically 10 joules. Next thing is what is the work done by the resistive force? Think about it. Think about it. Using work kinetic energy theorem, work done by gravity plus work done by resistive force is the change of the kinetic energy. That's your work kinetic energy theorem. Work done by gravity is 10. Work done by resistance, I don't know. Kinetic energy, change, final minus initial. So half into mass. Mass is, where is it? 10 to the power minus 3. 10 to the power minus 3 into velocity. Velocity is 50. So basically 50 square. Solving this, you will get the work done by the resistive force. That's what they would have also done. Yes, it comes out as minus 8.75 joules. So the meaning of minus is it is sucking away the energy. It is doing negative work, means it is taking away the energy. That's all it means. Yes. So that's all you need to do in this particular question. Very good. Moving on to the next one on your screen. Cyclist is going and he's skidding and he's stopping. Force on the cycle is this much, directly opposed. How much work and how much work does the cycle do on the road? Well, this is direct question. Force is given, displacement is given. Force into displacement is going to give you the work, right? But the problem is with the sign. So understand that work done by the road on the cycle. Work done by the road on the cycle. So if the cycle is going like this, the road will apply a force like this. Both are opposite, so the work done will be negative. So when I multiply 200 newtons into 10, which will give me 2000, the work done by the road on the cycle will be negative. So it will be minus 2000 joules. Yes, there is no problem of that. Now, the next part is how much work does the cycle do on the road? So a lot of people think, sir, it will be positive 2000. But think about it again. The road is actually not moving. The road is still at rest. So guys, there is no work done on the road, technically speaking, because the road did not displace at all. The road did not displace at all. The road was at rest. So no work done because displacement is 0. Yep. KP Charan, 40 marks, up to 40 marks expect from physics from this particular session. Yep. Because every year, if you open up the papers, you will see NCERT Intext questions based problems, models, patterns are coming. Open last year also, you will find. If you want, I can make a separate video on that, but I don't want to waste your time. Just study. Rather than watching whether these kind of questions will come, I'm telling you it is going to come, just watch it. No point wasting your time and making a separate video on that. Yeah, correct. Let's move on. Next one. What is this? Ballistic, the bullet emerges with 10%. What is the emergent speed of the bullet? This is not so important question. Ignore it. Next one. Woman pushes a trunk. Okay. She applies a force of 100 Newton over the distance of 10 Newton and she gets tired. The total distance to which the trunk has been moved is 20 meters. Okay. So first she is applying 100 Newton. Then she applies 50 Newton. So from 100 she went to 50 Newton. 50 Newton, and this happened over a displacement, of how much? Basically 10 meters. 10 meters. How much work was done by it? Remember, force versus displacement. This is displacement. This is displacement. This is basically force. The area under this graph, what does it give you? Area under this graph, what does it give you? Work done by her. Work done by the force. So that's it. So if you want to find the work done, that's it. You just need to find the area under the graph. Plot the force applied by the woman, which is 50 Newton versus the displacement. Okay, reduces the total distance. Yeah, that's it. That's all you need to do. That's it. Okay, I think in the thing also that is also mentioned. Okay, but I think for some time 10 meters she's there is one more thing over here. For 10 meters, she is applying constant force. For the next 20 meters, she is getting tired. So technically, when she is getting tired and reducing the force, this should be 20 meters. And for the first 10 meters, when she is not actually tired, the force value is constant. The force value is constant and it is 100 Newton. So you have to include this area also, because it is mentioned that for 10 meters, she is applying this force of 100 Newton. And when she gets tired, for the next 20 meters, she reduces the force to 50 Newton. So constant force and then reducing force. So force versus displacement area gives you basically the work done. As simple as that. Cool. Shall we go ahead? Yep. Let's move on to the next question then. Let's move on to the next question. This question basically, obtain an expression for V naught, the speeds at point B and C, the ratio of the kinetic energies. So one thing you should know, that if you have given vertical plane, with the string becoming slack only on reaching the topmost point. So if the string just becomes slack at the topmost point, what is the velocity at the topmost point? Standard value, it is root of Lg. Root of Lg. So this value of velocity will be nothing but root of 5 Lg for a string. If it is a rod, it becomes root of 4 Lg. Root of 4 Lg. So this speed you know, this speed you know. How do I find this speed B? That's it. Simple. Use energy conservation. Energy conservation from this point to this point. So kinetic energy at A plus potential energy at A is kinetic energy at B plus potential energy at B. Kinetic energy at A is half m V naught, which is root of 5 Lg whole square. Potential energy, take it 0. Kinetic energy at B, I don't know, half m Vb square. Potential energy at B, you have gone up by a height of L, so mgl. That's it. You know everything in this equation. You can immediately find what is the value of Vb. Vb is the velocity at this particular point. Vb is the velocity at this particular point. Correct. That's all. So I think the answer should come out as root 3 gl. What about the other parts? Kinetic energy ratio. Guys, kinetic energy is half mv square. You know the speeds. Immediately you can take the ratio. Very simple. So directly take the ratio. If you know the speeds, mm will anyways get cancelled. Okay, combine the nature on the trajectory of the bob after it reaches point C. Once it reaches point C, the string will become slack. A lot of people think it will fall down like this. No. So what happens is, because it has this velocity, it will immediately go ahead, and the moment it goes ahead, the string will become taut. It will become tight. It will pull it back. It will pull it back into the circle, and it continues its journey, and it again accelerates. And it again accelerates down and gains back the velocity and again goes up, reduces the velocity, just about to fall, but because of the velocity it is going out, and the string will pull it back, and that's why it will continue its journey. So it will continue its journey. That's all that is going to happen. The bob will continue its path of revolution, circular path of revolution. Right. Moving on, next one. Oops, what is this? To simulate car accidents, manufacturers study the collisions. Okay, consider a simulation of the car. Okay, this speed, this mass, colliding horizontally mounted spring this much. What is the maximum compression of the spring? So this car is colliding with the spring. So the kinetic energy of the car will go into the potential energy of the spring. So half mv square will be half k x square. That's all. You know the mass, you know the speed, you know the spring constant, you can find the extension or compression. That's it. Half mv square is half k x square. That's all that is there in this particular question. Okay, work power energy question. Yes, yes. Is 2 years enough to crack NEET J? Ram Raj, are you really asking? What do you mean 2 years? How many years do you want to study? 5 years, 10 years, previous birth? Obviously, 2 years is more than enough. You don't have to study more. People crack it in 1 year also. But just because they miss first year of preparation, 2 years is more than enough. Okay, don't waste more than that. An elevator can carry maximum load of this much and is moving up with a constant speed. The frictional force opposing to the motion is this much. Determine the power delivered by the. This question was actually asked in NEET examination, and you know, in many examinations it has been asked in different ways. So basically, you know, you have a lift, it is going up, there is tension over here, there is weight over here, and there is also friction over here, there is velocity over here. So find the power delivered by the motor. So because I think it is going with a constant speed, that means the acceleration is 0, that means the net force is 0, that means tension is equal to weight plus friction. Weight you know, frictional force also you know. From this you can find the value of tension. Last step is power, because that is what the question is. What is the power? So power will be force into velocity. So that force in this case will be tension. That velocity is, I think, given to be 2 meters per second. From this you will get the power in watts. From this you will get the power in watts, because the motor is giving the power via the thread to the lift. So the power given by the motor will be tension force on the lift by the motor into the velocity. That's it. That is the answer. Is that right? Yep. Where to attend the mock test, Janlisa? Let me just show it to you. It's right over here. As you're watching this particular class, just go down into the description box over here and just go down. Over here, you can see AIMT test series. Just click on this particular link and you will see the free test series. The free test series. Okay, you can get to know your performance analysis in line with the new pattern. All the mock tests are there and you will get your all India ranking, and thousands of students are right now giving this mock test, let me tell you that. So it will also predict where you stand. Okay, and it will tell you what are the weak points. You will get solutions also. So you can see all the mock tests are scheduled. You can give it for absolutely free of cost. Absolutely free of cost, right? So that was your AIMT mock test. Moving on. Yes, this is important. Moving on to the next one. Nuclear reactor slowed down. Okay, this thing, this is not that important actually. When I like carbon has mass of only a few times the neutron, that material, this is fine. This is okay. Ignore this, not needed. Consider the collision depicted in the figure. Okay, billiard ball striking. Okay, angle of 37. Assume the collision to be elastic and that the friction and the rotational motion are not important. Obtain the value of theta. Angle is also given to you. So in this kind of question, what happens is the momentum has to be conserved. So before the collision and after the collision, you know, the momentum has to be conserved. Now clearly it is mentioned the collision is between two billiard balls of equal mass. The first ball is called the Q while the second ball is called as the target. This is target, this is Q. The person wants to ignore that, assume that the collision is elastic and there is no other thing. So initial momentum is nothing but m1 into this velocity, m1 into this velocity. Final momentum is this and this horizontal components only. So m1 v1f, you can say cos theta 1 plus m2 v2f cos theta 2. Theta 1, theta 2 both are basically given, or no, only theta 2 is given. Only theta 2 is given. Theta 2 is basically 37 degrees. Okay. So from this, I feel it will be a much more complicated equation, much more complicated equation. But let's see if there is something which we can eliminate. Yeah, one thing which we can eliminate is the masses are equal. Masses are equal. M1 is equal to M2. So M1, M1, M2 will get cancelled. So I will get one equation from here, which is Vi is equal to V1F cos theta 1 plus V2F cos theta 2. In the y direction, there was no momentum only. There was no momentum. Net momentum in the y direction was 0. So it should remain 0 afterwards. So final momentum in the y direction, guys. M2 V1F sine theta 1 minus, why minus? Because the second momentum is down. So M2, sorry, this was not M2, this was M1, but this was M1, this was M1 V1F sine theta 1, and the next momentum is M2 V2F sine theta 2. M2 V2F sine theta 2. Theta 2 is basically 37 degrees. So again, M1 and M2 will cancel because they are equal. So from this equation, substitute it here and you can get the answer. From this equation, substitute it here and you can get the answer. So that is what they have also done, right? It is not that difficult. All right. But instead of doing all this nonsense, let me tell you one simple thing. You don't even have to do this. I have taught one property. That property is whenever there is an elastic collision between identical balls and one ball hits and these two balls go at an angle, they will always go perpendicular to each other if the masses are equal and the collision is elastic. So if this is 37, naturally this should be 53 degree. You don't even have to do all these things. If you know my trick, you will not do all these things. Directly you will answer it as 53 degree. All this nonsense is not required. Getting my point? Yeah. All right. Amsa, I did not ignore your comment, bacha. Yes. Yeah. So a lot of people try to solve it via the NCERT method. See, that NCERT method is okay for boards, but for NEET, JEE and all these examinations, you don't have to follow, long procedures. You need to use tricks, and the trick is for elastic collisions where the balls go at an angle and one ball is at rest, masses are same, they will always go perpendicular to each other. So that's all you need to do. Let's go to center of mass rigid body also now. Come on, guys. Yep, ready for it? Okay. Questions are what? Each side of an equilateral triangle is this much. Masses are given. Find the center of mass of the particles if they are placed on the equilateral triangle. You should just know the coordinates of each point. So one is 100 grams, one is 150 grams, one is 200 grams. Just find out the coordinates. If I call this as 0, 0, this will be nothing but 0.5 comma 0. This will be exactly midpoint of 0.5. So this will be 0.25. Height wise, how much will it be? Think about it. Height wise, how much will it be? Base is 0.25. Height wise, how much will it be? Well, I know the side of this triangle is 0.5 and this is 60. So this is sine 60. So this is 0.5 sine, this angle is 60, sine 60, which is root 3 by 2. So 0.25 root 3. So hence the height should be 0.25 root 3. Now you just use m1 x1 plus m2 x2 upon m1 plus m2 is equal to x coordinate of the center of mass. Same thing, you can do it for the y coordinate of the center of mass. It's just a matter of substituting values. Will you get both the coordinates in the NEET exam? No, you'll just get one coordinate. Okay, so you had to use little bit of trigonometry here. Apart from that is direct formula. That's what we have done. Yeah, that's what we have done. We have found out the coordinates and that's it. We have used m1 x1 plus m2 x2. Yes. KB Charan, Chependi only. From that time, I am Solanga. From that time, I am talking. Okay. Yeah. Let's focus, guys, on the session. Let's, guys, focus on the session. Yes. Make sure you are not spamming unnecessarily. Yeah. Come on. Let's move on to the next question. Okay. Oops. I think I showed the answer. Anyways, find the center of mass of a uniform L-shaped lamina plate as shown in the figure. Lamina's mass is basically 3 kg. Okay. So in this situation, what you will do, you will divide the L shape into 3 parts. 1 square, 1 square, 1 square. 3 squares here. This square center of mass is here, this guys is here, this guys is here. Now you have 3 point masses, you have to locate the center of mass. It becomes that simple. Yeah, this will be mass 1, mass 2, mass 3. That's all. Mass 1, mass 2, mass 3. That's all. Yeah, you know the masses. Each mass will be how much? 1 kg, 1 kg, 1 kg. What are the coordinates? If this is 0, this is 2, this is 1, this is 0.5, this is 1.5. As simple as that. So directly use m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 upon m1 plus m2 plus m3. That's it. You will get the answer. Did you understand, guys, how we solved it? Did you understand? Okay. So what is the coordinate of this guy? Well, see, if this is 2, this is 1, this is 1. How much will this be? This will be 0.5. How much will this be? This will be 1.5. 1.5. So this will be also 0.5. This will be also 1.5, right? Because this is 1. So you know all the coordinates now. You know all the masses. What else is left? Directly using the formula. Moving on. Find the torque about the origin position vector. Direct R cross F. Direct R cross F. If you don't believe, check out the past year papers. One question, in fact, many times, sometimes angular momentum is asked, sometimes torque is asked, sometimes flux is asked. They directly give one vector and they give another vector, ask you to find either the cross product or the dot product. So directly they won't ask you dot or cross. They will give you force and displacement, ask you work. Yep. Yeah. Or else they will give you torque, they will give you force and position and they will ask you to find the torque. So these kind of questions also come indirectly from vectors chapter. Indirectly from vectors chapter. Correct. Then this rod is supported by 2 knife edges. From each end 6 kg load is suspended. Find the reactions on the knife edge. Well, this particular question. Well, this question again very important, but you should know that there is nothing great about the problem apart from equating the torque to be 0. So the 6 kg load is suspended at 30 centimeters from one end. So let's say this is basically your 30 kg load, and the bar has a mass of 4 kg. So the 4 kg mass will act from the center of mass. 4 kg mass will act from the center of mass, right? And there will be also reaction forces here. There will be also reaction forces here where it is supported R1 and R2. That's it. Now you have to find out what are those reactions. So one way to do it is take this particular point and measure the total torque. Measure the total torque should be 0. So the total net torque about this point should be 0. So basically torque by 30 kg plus the torque by 4 kg should be balanced by the torque by the reaction 2. Why? 30 kg will give clockwise, 4 kg will also give clockwise, reaction 2 will give anti-clockwise. These two clockwise, this anti-clockwise. If they cancel out each other, that's it. The body should be at equilibrium. So that's it. Use this and you will get the value of the reaction torque. Okay. So this is the concept behind this particular question. This is the concept behind this particular question. Similar concept is also there in another question where a ladder is being supported from the bottom and from the top. And again, you show the forces like normal, friction, normal. This is your ladder. So weight is there. And then again, balance the torque, let's say about this point, and say that the net torque is 0. So this normal can't give torque, this friction can't give torque because they both are passing through the point. The weight will give you some torque, let's say clockwise, because it will pull it like this. This force will give you anti-clockwise torque from the top, this force, right? These two torques should balance out each other. And some more equations will be like this force will balance, this force will balance this force, this force will balance this force. So if you write those equations, you will definitely again get the answer. Okay, so that is what is there in this question. Moving on to the next one. Okay, there is a cord, you are pulling it with some force. As shown, the flywheel is mounted on an axle frictionless bearing. Compute the angular acceleration of the wheel. So force is there, radius is there. You can find the torque by R into F. And remember, the torque is also equal to I into alpha. What is I? I is nothing but, what is it? It's a flywheel. So it's a disc. So it is mr square by 2. You know the mass, you know the R, you can find I. If you know I, if you know R, if you know F, which you do know, because R is known, F is known, you can immediately find out this particular quantity, which is angular acceleration. Angular acceleration. Work done by the pull when 2 meters of the cord is unwound. This is straightforward. Work done is force into displacement. Force is 25 Newton, displacement is 2. So this is just 50 joules. That's it. So this should be directly 50 joules. Where is it? Yeah, it is somewhere, it should be there. 50 joules somewhere. Yeah, 50 joules, correct. 50 joules, yeah. Find also the kinetic energy of the wheel at this point, assuming that the wheel starts from rest. So if you are applying the force, you are doing some work, where will the work go? The work will go in the form of kinetic energy. So that is work kinetic energy theorem. So the kinetic energy of the wheel also should be exactly 50 joules. Compare the two answers. Obviously they will be equal because of work kinetic energy theorem. Nothing great about it, right? Moving on. Gravitation, guys. 3 equal masses fixed at the vertices of a triangle. What are the forces on mass placed at the centroid? What is the force if the mass is at the vertex A is doubled? So first answer, guys, is basically straightforward. You are placing a mass at the center. This mass, and this mass will pull equally in all the directions. So the net force must be 0. Net force must be obviously 0. But when you add one additional mass, basically the vertex A mass is doubled. So you are putting one more mass. So there will be one more force over here. So the net force will be this additional force. Because of that additional mass. So directly use Gmm by R square. Gmm by R square. That's all. So distance is this much. One extra mass you have put, and this mass is already given to you. So that's all. That's all that is there. Yep. I think the masses are also equal. So M1 is M, M2 is also M. Distance is this distance. How do you find this distance? This is a standard practice which you should know, guys. Come on. So whenever you have a triangle, this is the centroid. Okay. And let's say you want to find what is this distance. How will you find this distance? Okay. There are multiple ways of doing it. Let's say you just drop a perpendicular here. This is basically your, 30 degrees because total angle is 60. This base is nothing but side length by 2. Side length is 1 meter. So this length is basically 0.5 meters. So this distance will be 0.5 cos 30. 0.5 cos 30. So that is your R. That is the separation between the two masses. This mass and this mass. So this is your R. That's how you do it. This is your right angle triangle. 30, 90, 60. That's how you find R. Cool? Yeah, Malakoti, this kind of questions will be asked. You will see in the examination. See, unfortunately, many teachers won't discuss NCERT Intext questions, and repeatedly year over year, questions from NEET NCERT have been asked, and there is proof for that also. I can make a separate video, but like I've been telling, no point making it when I'm telling you it is going to come. If you want, you can check it out for yourself. Okay, how many questions are asked from NEET NCERT? Direct questions, or sometimes by twisting the problem. Okay. Then this particular question, potential energy of a particle of the vertices, obtain the potential, the center of the sphere. Potential energy of a system of 4 particles placed at the vertices of a square. So whenever multiple particles are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, first you find potential energy of these two, then these two, then these two, then these two, then these two, and then these two. So just add them, you will get the total potential energy. Also obtain the potential at the center of the square. So potential at the center. So potential due to this will be there, potential due to this will be there, due to this and due to this. So it will become 4 times the potential due to any one of them will be the total voltage. Yeah, that's it. It is not electric field or gravitational field, which is a vector quantity which will cancel. No, this is scalar. So it will just add up. Remember that. And any potential formula is minus gm by the distance, where this is the distance, this is the mass, minus gm by r. As straightforward as that. Yep, that is what it is. Then this question, I think we have done this in the gravitation chapter also, when I discussed, in the NEET Super 6 series. So you can check that out over there. I have done a beautiful solution on this. So please check it out. Okay. So I think obtain an expression for the minimum speed of the projectile so that it reaches the surface on the other side. I'll tell you what is the key idea in this problem. If this particle has to reach the other planet, there is a point where the net field will be 0. If it crosses that point, the field will only do the job of pulling it, because before that the field will be on the other side. So you have to just cross the point where the field is 0. The gravity will do the job on its own. So find that point where the field is 0 and then you can solve the problem. So the whole problem is only to find where the field is 0. Okay, so check it out. It's there in the NCERT it's there in the NEET Super 6 question series where I have solved gravity questions as well. Okay, a 400 kg satellite circular orbit twice the radius of the Earth. How much energy is required to transfer it to 4 RE? What are the changes of kinetic and potential energy? The only formula you need is kinetic energy is nothing but negative of total energy. Potential energy is nothing but twice of total energy. And the total energy formula is minus gmm by 2 times of r. Here, remember, this r is the radius of the Earth plus the altitude at which it is. Just use this, you will get the answer. Just use this, you will get the answer. That's it. Nothing great in this particular question. The first time, the radius is itself 2re. So this is only r plus h. This is only r plus h. Next time it is 4re. So this is the new r plus h. This is the new r plus h. So just substitute, you will get the change in the energy. You will get the change in the kinetic energy. Also the change in the potential energy. These formulas are very similar to that in atomic structure. Correct? Thermal physics. Let's go to that, everybody. Okay. Moving on. The diameter of the rim and the iron ring are this and this at 27. To what temperature should the ring be heated so as to fit the rim of the wheel? So basically, the diameter of the rim are given 5.23 and this much. So if you want to heat it to make the diameter go from this point to this point, use the linear expansion formula. Diameter at temperature T will be diameter initially into 1 plus alpha delta T. Alpha, do I know? Blacksmith, I think yes. Alpha will be given in the table because it's an NCERT Intext questions. They usually take the values of these constants from the table. So you get this value of alpha from the table. This D naught is basically this value. This is basically this value. And this is basically this value. From this, you will get the change in the temperature. From this, you will get the change in temperature, which is T minus 27. T minus 27. Solve this and you will get the answer. Yes. Final initial length, initial temperature. That's it. Final length is equal to initial length 1 plus alpha delta T. Alpha was from the table 1.2 10 to the power minus 5. From the table, you can directly get it. You'll be like, sir, in the exam, what will happen? There is no table. Yes, they will obviously give you the value only in the question. They'll give you the value itself in the question. Very good. Yep. Moving on to the next question. Calculate the heat required to convert this ice in the calorimeter to steam at this temperature. Everything is given. So you have to take the ice from minus 12 to 0. Then you have to melt it. And then you have to convert it into steam also. Oh, so many things are there. Why did I write these numbers? See, first of all, you are taking the ice from minus 12 to 0. So you need ms delta T heat. Then once it has reached 0, you have to melt it. So you need ml amount of heat to melt it. Then you have to take it to 100 degrees Celsius. So again, ms delta T over here. Once it reaches 100, it has to boil and evaporate. So to convert into steam. So again, use ml over here. Mass is given, S is given, L is given. But please keep in mind these L's are different, even these S's are also different. So latent heat of fusion for ice is given over here for this guy. For steam, it is given over here for L2. Yeah. And specific heat capacity of ice S1 is given. Specific heat capacity of water S2 is also given. Substitute, you will get the total heat. You will get basically the total heat which has to be supplied. That's what they would have done. This whole thing, this height plus this plus this plus this. Nothing great. Nothing great. Hello Himari. Yes. Moving on to the next question on your screen. What is this? Cylinder is fixed. Helium gas, standard temperature, pressure. What is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of the gas in the cylinder by 15 degrees Celsius? Now, since it is given, it is 44.8 liters. It should ring a bell. It is a multiple of 22.4 liters. That means it is basically 2 moles of helium gas. So 2 moles of helium gas is there at standard temperature and pressure. Okay, you have to increase the temperature. You have to increase the temperature by 15 degrees Celsius. So how much heat is required? Because the cylinder has a fixed capacity, this means volume is a constant. Volume is a constant, and for such process Q is equal to N CV delta T. N 2 moles, CV 3R by 2, delta T 15. That's it. N CV delta T. Helium is a diatomic gas. So for diatomic gas, CV is 3R by 2. That's it. Substitute, you will get the answer. Okay, shall we go ahead? Very nice. All right. So there is a sphere, aluminum placed for sufficient time in a vessel so that the sphere is at 100 degrees Celsius. It is immediately transferred to a copper calorimeter this much at 20 degrees Celsius. Copper calorimeter containing 0.25 kg water at 20 degrees Celsius. The temperature of the water rises and attains a steady state of 23 degrees Celsius. Calculate the specific heat capacity of aluminium. So understand, here aluminium is losing heat. The water and the copper are basically gaining the heat. The heat loss should be the heat gained. That is the principle of calorimetry. So heat lost by aluminium is the mass of aluminium, which is 0.0, or I'll just put it over here like this in variable terms. Mass of aluminium into specific heat capacity of aluminium into delta T. Initial temperature 100, final steady temperature is 23. So 100 minus 23. That is the heat lost by aluminium. What is the heat gained? Heat gained by water plus the copper. Water will gain mass of the water into specific heat capacity of water into delta T. From 20 it went to 23. So it will be 23 minus 20 plus mass of the copper into specific heat capacity of copper multiplied by delta T, which is again 23 minus 20. Everything is given. Specific heat capacity of water given. Specific heat capacity of copper given. Mass of copper given. Mass of water also given. Substitute everything. You can then find this value. Everything else is given to you. Okay. So it's a substitution based question and based on conservation of energy or principle of calorimetry. You should identify who loses heat. You should identify who gains heat also. Okay. I hope this is absolutely clear. Very good. Very good. Moving on to the next one, my dear warriors. Moving on, next one. Yep. All right. What is the next one? Yeah, this is done. Okay. Sphere. This is okay. Yeah. When 0.5 kg is mixed with 0.3 kg of water at 50 degrees Celsius, the resulting temperature is 6.7. Calculate the heat of fusion of ice. So who lost, who gained? That's it. I think ice has gained. So basically that ice has gained the heat, and who has lost the heat? Water, which was hot, has lost it, and this has basically gained it. So how much heat does ice gain? So first of all, that ice was at 0 degrees Celsius, it has to melt. So ml amount of heat to melt it, and then increase the temperature. So ms delta T. Here the water was at 50, it came to 6.7. So mass into S into delta T. So what is each value you should know? So here this mass is basically 0.15. This latent heat is I think what is asked. This is nothing but 0.15. Specific heat capacity of water is 4186. Change of the temperature from 0 to 6.7 is 6.7. From 0 to 6.7 is 6.7. This mass of the container, it is 0.3 kg in container. Specific heat capacity 4186, and delta T over here from 50 to 6.7. So 50 minus 6.7. That's it. You substitute everything, you will get the value of latent heat. Correct. Very good. Moving on to the next one. Here it is. What is the temperature of the steel copper junction in this particular case? Temperature at this point and that point is given. What is the temperature of the junction? So when these rods are in series, keep in mind heat flowing through both the rods is the same. So heat flowing through steel is heat flowing through basically copper. So heat flowing through the steel is K of steel into area of steel into temperature difference. So 300 minus T, whole thing divided by the length. I think the length of the steel rod is also different. Length of the steel rod is equal to here K of copper into area of the copper. Temperature difference is T minus 0. Whole thing divided by length of copper. I know this. The only thing I don't know is T. Solving this, you will get the value of T. So in series, whatever heat goes here will also go in the other rod. So that is the concept used to find the junction temperature. That's all you need to use. I think, yes, that is what they have also done. Yeah. Same thing over here also. Same concept. What is the temperature at this point? What is the heat flow rate, etc. So once you find T naught, just like before, you can also find the heat current. Heat current is nothing but Ka delta T by L. Ka delta T by L. You know K, you know A, you know delta T, you know L. Directly you can get the heat current. That is what is asked over here. So you can also find the temperature of the junction. This part where they ask you equivalent thermal conductivity. For that, what you can do is you can convert this as resistors and then find the equivalent resistance. Yes, rods with thermal conductivity are also having thermal resistance. So this is like one resistor here, another resistor here, R1 and R2, and you are converting it into a series resistance which is R1 plus R2. What is the value of thermal resistance? It is L by Ka. It is L by Ka. So this R1 will be L by again K into A. That's it. So you can find the equivalent thermal resistance. From that you can find the equivalent thermal conductivity. This is length effective divided by K of series into the A. Here this L will be nothing but L1 plus L2. L1 plus L2 because you are replacing both the rods with one single rod. So that is the reason why the resistance will be length 1 plus length 2, which is the total length by Ka. This is what you have to find. R1 I know, R2 I know, Rs I find, from this I find Ks. That's how you solve the equivalent thermal conductivity problem. Cool. Shall we go ahead? Very good. Let's move on to the next question. Yes. Okay, moving on. Vessel contains two reactive neon oxygen gases. Ratio of partial pressures. Estimate the ratio of number of molecules, mass density, okay, atomic mass number. So I'll just tell you what you need to do in this question. Use gas law. PV is equal to nRT. PV is equal to nRT. Yep. Yes, just like resistors, Krishna, correct. Yep. So PV is equal to nRT. That's all you need to use. Yeah, because pressure ratio is given and you have to find the number of molecules ratio. If I know the ratio of the moles, I also get the ratio of the molecules. Remember, they are in the same container, so their temperatures are same. R is a gas constant, volume is also same because they occupy the entire volume. Their partial pressures are P1 and P2. So PV is equal to nRT, V is constant, R is constant, T is constant, P is directly proportional to N. So P1 by P2 is N1 by N2 or moles ratio, which is also the molecules ratio. So that's it. So estimate the ratio of the number of molecules. From this we got the number of molecules ratio. It will be also obviously 3:2 only. Now the next part is mass density is of neon and oxygen is asked. Now density is mass by volume. Mass by volume. Volume occupied by both the gases is the same. So volume gets cancelled out. So what remains is only the total mass of gas 1 upon total mass of gas 2. Total mass of gas 1 upon total mass of gas 2. Now how do I find the mass of the gas? Mass of the gas is molecular weight into number of moles. So that is why you are going to write M1 as molecular weight into number of moles. You can see that over here. Mass 1 when I see over here, mass 1 is molecular weight into number of moles. Similarly, you will see over here mass number 2 is a number of moles into molecular weight. That's it. That's all you replace it with. So you will immediately get the density ratio. You will immediately get the density ratio. The mass of the gas is how many moles you have, and each molecular weight is that many grams per mole. So that many grams per mole into moles gives you the grams of the gas. That's all has been done over here. So uranium isotopes have larger average speed. If atomic masses of fluorine is 19, estimate the percentage difference. Guys, in this particular question, understand that the RMS speed or any speed is always something, but always mass is there in the denominator. So the one which has heavier mass, molecular mass, will have lower speeds. So fluorine is 19 and what is it? Both are present in uranium hexafluoride. Okay. So the isotope of uranium which has a mass of 238 is heavier, so it has lower speed. This is lighter, so it has basically heavier speed. As simple as that. So now all you need to do is to find the percentage difference in the speed. You find V1, find V2, subtract the 2, divide by V1 and multiply it by 100. That's all. Percentage difference. Correct. That's all. Everyone with me? Awesome. Yeah. One speed will be higher than the other. Correct. Very good. So most of the terms will get cancelled when you substitute the velocity. Okay. Only the mass term will be remaining and you can solve it very easily. It's not that difficult. Cool. That is what they have also done. Okay. A flask contains argon, chlorine in some ratio. The temperature of the mixture is 27. Obtain the ratio of the average kinetic energy per molecule and the root mean square speed of the molecule of the two gases. Atomic mass of argon and molecular mass of chlorine is also given. So question is find the average kinetic energy per molecule. Now when you try to do this average kinetic energy per molecule, right, it is nothing but half KT formula, but that is per degree of freedom. But since this is monoatomic gas which has 3 degrees of freedom, so it will be 3 by 2 KT. Won't it be 3 by 2 KT, everyone? Pakka? Yes, 3 by 2 KT because 3 degrees of freedom are there. Very good. Excellent. Then what about chlorine? A lot of people will think, sir, chlorine has 5 degrees of freedom because it is diatomic. But the question says just the kinetic energy. This kinetic energy means only translation, and translation only 3 degrees of freedom are there, whether it is argon or whether it is chlorine. Yes, extra 2 rotational kinetic energies are there, not just simple linear kinetic energy. So that is why 3 by 2 KT and 3 by 2 KT, the ratio will be 1:1. Temperature is same, K is same, 3 degrees of freedom are there for both argon and chlorine translation wise. Okay. Root mean square speed of the molecules of the gases. Okay, root mean square, guys. What is root mean square? Root mean square is nothing but 3RT by M. T is same, R is same, 3 is same, only inversely proportional to M. So V1 by V2 is nothing but root of M2 by M1. Root of M2 by M1. Mass is known, just substitute the values, you get the ratio of the speeds. You get the ratio of the speeds. As simple as that. That's all you need to do, like it has been done here. Mass ratio, that's it. Inversely proportional. Okay, very good. Moving on to the next one. Coming up on your screen. Now, cylinder is fixed. Helium gas, standard temperature, what? I think this was already done. Okay, yeah, SHM waves, let's come to that. So let me remind you also one more thing. I had conducted special board classes for all your 12 standard NCERT questions. I don't know whether you have seen it or not. So do check that out. So I have done a lot of practice questions for your NCERT. That is when I did preparatory sessions for your board examinations, right? So I would advise you to check that as well. Although it was for boards, but a lot of questions can actually come from there as well. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. Given below are some of the examples of wave motion. State in each case whether it is transverse, longitudinal or combination of both. Motion of a kink in a longitudinal spring produced by displacing the end of the spring sideways. So you take a spring and press it, that compression will go like that, or if you pull it, that rarefaction, expansion will go, horizontally. So it should be a longitudinal wave, I believe. Yes, the longitudinal wave will be there, one end of the spring sideways, correct. But here you are not pushed it like this. If you push it like that, so imagine that spring goes like this. If you push it sideways like this, not only will there be a compression or an expansion which will be going along the spring, but also because I have moved it sideways, there will be also a transverse wave which is going. In the spring. So that is why in option A you will see transverse wave as well as longitudinal wave. Transverse wave as well as longitudinal wave. Correct. Very good. Moving on. Waves produced in a cylinder containing a liquid by moving its piston back and forth. So if you move the piston back and forth in a cylinder, what will happen? Air will get compressed, rarefied. So that's like sound waves, so it will be longitudinal. By a motorboat sailing in water, well, you will have ripples on the water. Those ripples are basically transverse waves. At the same time, you will also hear sound. That sound is going to compress the water molecules back and forth. So there will be longitudinal waves as well. Ultrasonic waves in air. Ultrasonic is basically sound. Sound means longitudinal. So option D will have longitudinal only. Okay, moving on. Equation is given. Question is, find the amplitude, wavelength, time period, frequency of the wave. Okay, so for this particular question, my dear warriors, what you can do, see, whenever you have a wave equation is always of the form A sine, and then you will have kx plus minus omega t. So amplitude over here is obviously this guy, 0.005. Then next thing is the time period and the wavelength. So for wavelength, what you do, find k. K is basically 80. So 80 is basically k, which is 2 pi by lambda. From this you will get lambda. Next thing, for frequency and time period, see this. So omega is basically 3. Omega is 2 pi by t, which is 3. From this you will get time period. Frequency is 1 by time period. That's it. That's all you need to do. So you'll get everything related to it. Also calculate the displacement of the wave at x is equal to 30 and time is equal to 20. So for the last part, substitute the values. So y will be 0.005 sine 80 into x. X is basically 30 minus omega. Omega is 3 into time. Time is basically 20. So solve this and you will get the value of y. Just substitute. We have substituted everything. Calculate it. You will get the answer. So that's what they have also done. Amplitude, lambda, time period, frequency. In the end, they have just substituted it it comes out as sine of 1.71 radian. You will leave the answer like this because you can't find the sine of 1.71 radian in NEET exam. You need logbook, which is not allowed. So options only will be designed in such a way that you get good values, or if it is non-standard values, options will contain those non-standard values. They will contain those non-standard values, correct? Moving on. Mass of the wire is given, wire length is given, tension is given. What is the speed? Speed of the wire under tension is root of T by mu. So it will be root of T by mass by length. That's it. Mass by length. Mu is mass per unit length. Tension is given, length is given, mass is given. By the way, this kind of questions have also come on JEE exam. Can you believe that? So definitely it can be asked in your NEET examination. So keep this in mind that this is mass per unit length, right? So substitute, you will get it. Yep, exactly the same thing that they have done. Next one. Estimate the speed of sound in air at standard temperature and pressure. The mass of 1 mole of air is this much. Mass of 1 mole of air is given. Okay. So which formula will you use? There are many formulas. Which formula will you use? Come on, think about it. Well, the mass of 1 mole is given. I think we can probably use this because temperature is not given. Root of P by rho. P by rho. But how do I find out P? How do I find out rho? Oh, P is given. Standard temperature and pressure. Standard temperature and pressure. So guys, this pressure value will be, 1.01 10 to the power 5, right? Approximately. So you can also put it close to, this is approximately 10 to the power 5 because it is standard temperature and pressure. Acha. What about density? How do I find the density? Think about it. How do I find the density? Yeah, density of air. Is there a formula for that? Is there a formula for that? PV is equal to nRT? No. PM is equal to rho RT? PM is equal to rho RT? Okay, we can use that also. Or because it is given 1 mole and also standard. So volume at standard is 22.4 liters. So density is mass by volume. Mass is basically 29 into 10 to the power minus 3. Volume is 22.4 liters. Each liter is 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube. So we got the value of density. We got the value of density. Exactly. So from this, substitute it over here. And this pressure, of course, whatever you got, substitute it here. And that's how you get the value of the velocity. That's how you get the value of the velocity. Perfect. Very nice. Next one. There is a pipe. It's open at both ends. Which harmonic mode the pipe will resonate at 1.1 kilohertz source? Will resonance be the same? So with the same source be observed if one end of the pipe is closed, take the speed of the sound in the air as 330. Okay, so in this particular question, what you need to do, my dear students, because frequency is given, pipe length is given, and it is also open on both ends. Okay, is there a formula which we know? Is there a formula which we know which relates the frequency open at both ends? Yes, frequency is NV by 2L. Frequency is 1.1 kilohertz. So N value don't know, velocity don't know, length I know 30 centimeters, which is 0.3 meters. Oh, speed of the sound is also given, which is 330. So put 330 over here. You will get the value of N. Okay. Which harmonic mode is it? Vibrating. So from this, I will get which harmonic mode it is. The value of N will give me which harmonic mode it is vibrating. Correct. So when you substitute everything and solve, I think the value of N that we get is 2. Okay, so we are getting the value of N is 2. So it is basically the second harmonic. Now, will resonance with the same source be observed if one end of the pipe is closed? Okay, so if one end of the pipe is closed, the formula will be NV by 2L. N odd V by 4L. It is odd times V by 4L. So take any odd number. Frequency is what? 1.1 into 10 to the power 3. Velocity is 330. 4 into length. Length is 0.3. Solve this and see what is the odd number that you are getting. Solve this and see what is the odd number you are getting. I think the odd number that you will get, probably it's not given over here. Let's have a look. Okay, just see the math and see what will you get. This 0.3, 0.3, okay, this will also go there, so it will become 4 3s are 12. Just check this out. It will just become 4 into 3 into 11. One decimal from here, one decimal from here. So 10 to the power minus 2 into 10 to the power 3. The whole thing divided by 330. So 11 goes with 33 3 times, 3 cancels. So these powers and zeros will also cancel. It is 4. So how can odd number be 4? So basically it is not possible. Basically, can there be resonance? Will resonance occur? The answer is no. The answer is no. So I have solved it in a much easier way than what NCERT has done. That's it. Odd number. Correct. Very good. Moving on. Shall we go ahead? Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Moving on. Two sitar strings are played. The slightly out of tune produce some beats. The tension in the string is slightly decreased. Beat frequency is found to decrease to 3 Hz. What is the original frequency? Frequency of A is 427. So frequency of A is 427. This is the frequency of A. So the possibilities of frequency of B, which is producing a beat of 5, is 427 plus 5 or 427 minus 5. This is first option. This is second option. But I don't know which one to choose. So they have given additional data. If the tension is increased, the beat frequency decreases. Remember, frequency is nv by 2L and velocity is root of tension by mu. So if the tension is increased, the frequency of the B will also increase. Frequency of B will also increase. So in the case where B has 5 Hz more frequency, you are further increasing the frequency. So you will be adding more beat frequencies had the answer being 427 plus 5. But let's say the frequency of B is 427 minus 5. So if you increase the frequency of B, understand the beat frequency will reduce. The beat frequency will reduce. But if you choose this option and increase B1, then beat frequency will increase. Clearly the beat frequency is decreasing. So actual answer of B2 will be 427 minus 5, which is 422. Is that clear, everyone? Very good. Let's move on. Okay. Here is the next one. On an average, a human heart is found to beat 75 times in a minute. Calculate its frequency and time period. Very simple. 75 times in 1 minute. 1 minute is 60 seconds. So in 1 second, how many times? So basically, you divide 75 and 60. That's it. So it's basically, beating 75 times, in 60 seconds. So in 1 second, it will be nothing but 75 divided by 60. That's it. So that is your frequency. Calculate its frequency, okay, and time period. So for time period, it is 1 by frequency. So you know the frequency, time period will be reciprocal of that. Very good. Moving on to the next one. Which of the following is periodic, non-periodic? Give the period for each of them. So this question we had also done in SHM. This is also very important. This is sine plus cos is allowed. Remember that. So, it is also a periodic motion. There is no harm in it. It is basically combination of SHM in one dimension. So it is periodic. And the period is again, 2 pi by omega. Here, this is a problem. Here, this has omega, this has 2 omega, this has 4 omega. This has omega, this has 2 omega, this is 4 omega. So what will happen, guys? Is this periodic or non-periodic? The answer is obviously it is going to be periodic in nature. it is going to be periodic in nature, but the problem is it is not a simple harmonic motion. It is not a simple harmonic motion. It is periodic, but not simple periodic or simple harmonic. The above one is a simple harmonic motion because everything has omega. If one has omega, second has 2 omega, next has 4 omega, next has 7 omega, 8 omega, like that, then it is a combination of SHMs with multiple frequencies. It will be periodic, it will be repeating, but it will not be simple harmonic. That's all. It will not be simple harmonic. This e raised to minus omega is definitely not periodic because it is exponential. Logarithmic functions are also not periodic in nature. So this one is not periodic, this one is also not periodic. That's all. Okay. Which of the following functions represent SHM, periodic but not SHM? See, I just told you whenever you have sine, cos and omegas are same, it will be a SHM. It will be a SHM and also it will be periodic in nature. It will also be a periodic in nature. Sine square, you might think it is not periodic, but if you use the double angle formula, which is cos 2 theta is equal to 1 minus 2 sine square theta. So shift it. So 2 sine square theta is equal to 1 minus cos 2 theta, and this will then become sine square theta is half minus cos 2 theta divided by 2. You will see sine square omega t is nothing but half minus half into cos 2 omega t. If you notice, cos 2 omega t is the equation of SHM, so it is also going to be periodic in nature. This one is a problem. No matter what you do, you will never be able to get it into a single sine or cosine term. So this will neither be this will not be simple harmonic for sure. Okay, this will not be simple harmonic for sure. And what about periodic nature? Well, periodic wise, yes, it will be, but SHM wise, I don't think so. Yeah, SHM wise, I don't think so. But wait a minute, this is 2 sine square omega t. So wait a minute, sorry, my bad. This I can write it as cos omega t plus 2 times of, just like sine square omega t was this expression, why not write it as half into, this is half and this is cos 2 omega t, like this over here. So 2 cancels, it will become 1, and cos omega t minus half cos omega t is half cos omega t plus 1. Oh, this is definitely a SHM and it is also periodic in nature because a single term is there. Oh no, wait. What did I just do? Yeah. This is cos omega t, this is cos 2 omega t, my bad. So I'll have cos omega t over here plus 2 cancels, becomes 1, and this will become minus cos 2 omega t. So 2 omega and omega I can never combine. So definitely it is not a simple harmonic motion, but periodic wise, is it periodic? Definitely it is a periodic motion. Definitely it is a periodic motion because any sine cos term is there, then it will be periodic in nature. Is that clear, everybody? Very good. Let's move on. A body oscillates as per the equation time 1.5 seconds. Calculate displacement, speed, acceleration. Substitute, you will directly get the displacement. So 5 cos, then 2 pi time. Time is 1.5 plus pi by 4. For the second part, velocity is a omega. Cos derivative will become minus sine. So minus sine, 2 pi t plus pi by 4. Because I have taken the derivative of this. Velocity is nothing but derivative of this. Sine's derivative is cos, cos's derivative is minus sine. And lastly, find the derivative of this. So dv by dt will give you acceleration. So it will be minus a omega square. Sine's derivative is basically cos. So it will be 2 pi t plus basically pi by 4. That's it. So that will give you the answer. Very good. Okay. Right? Cool. Let's move on to the next one. Yeah, that's what they have done. You just have to substitute, and these are basic equations of simple harmonic motion. If you know x, you know v, you know a. If x is sine, v will be cos, a will be minus sine. If x is cos, v will be minus sine, a will be basically minus cos. That's all. This kind of question, find the period of oscillations. Whenever you see such a question, remember springs on both sides. Remember, it is a question of springs in parallel, and springs in parallel, the effective constant will just add. In parallel they add. In series, 1 by k1 plus 1 by k2 plus 1 by k3 is 1 by k effective. So it's just like capacitors and opposite of resistors. So the total spring constant will be 2k. So essentially your time period of oscillation, which is 2 pi root mass by k effective, that k effective only will be 2 times of k. The k effective only will be 2 times of k. Cool? That is all that is going to happen. No need to do all this nonsense. Directly only you can write it. Yeah, 2 pi under root m by 2k. A block whose mass is this much, spring has a constant of this much, block is pulled from equilibrium, okay, on a frictionless surface. Calculate the kinetic potential and total energies of the block when it is 5 centimeters away from the mean position. So in this particular question, block is pulled by this much from its equilibrium. So basically amplitude is basically 10. Spring constant is given, mass is given. So from this, time period is 2 pi under root mass by k. Okay, m by k. Time period also we got. So omega is basically 2 pi by t. So it will be root of 50. So root 50 is 25 into 2. 25's root is 5. So 5 root 2. So that is the value of omega. Then calculate the kinetic potential and total energies when the block is 5 centimeters away from the mean position. So when it is 5 centimeters away, x is given. So you can find v using this equation, omega root a square minus x square. So omega is known, which is 5 root 2. Then root of a square minus x square. A is basically 10, x is basically 5. That's it. From this you will get the value of velocity, but this will be obviously in centimeters per second. From this you can find kinetic energy, which is half mv square. From this you can also find potential energy, which is half into spring constant into x. X is 5, so 0.05 square. And you can also find the total energy by adding them. Total energy is addition of these two, half mv square, whatever you get, and whatever you get in potential energy. That will give you the total energy. If you don't want to find by addition, there is no harm. You can do one more thing. You can just write half into spring constant into a square. Spring constant is 50 and amplitude is basically 10, which is 0.1 square. So that will also give you the total energy. Okay, it's up to you how you want to do it. They have done it a very, very lengthy way. Let me tell you, this is very, very lengthy way, whatever they have done in NCERT. What I have given to you is a very, very easy way of doing it. Very, very easy way of doing it. Right. Very good. Moving on. Next one. What is the length of a simple pendulum which ticks seconds? Ticks seconds means 1 second like this and 1 second like this. So the time period is basically 2, and whenever the time period is given, you want to find the length. It is 2 pi root of L by G. So everything is given. That's it. You can find the value of the length. That's it. Basically, tick is 1 second, tock is 1 second. Tick, tock. So 1 second, tick, 1 second, tick. So 2 seconds is the time period. It's a seconds pendulum. I think the length will come out to be, if I'm not wrong, probably 1 meter or something. Just check it out. I think it will come out to be 1 meter. Just try it out. Yes, you should get. Yeah, it is 1 meter. That's the standard length of a seconds pendulum. Anyways, moving on to the next one. Yes, 1 centimeter, no, 1 meter. Yeah, cool. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead to the next question. Solids and fluids, guys. Yeah, 12 questions majorly I have done in the your board exam preparation. I'll show you where you can find it on the channel. Also, it is there. So two thigh bones, each of cross section, support the upper part of a human body. Estimate the average pressure sustained by the this thing. Now in this case, it is just unnecessarily given in a complicated manner. It's just that you need to know the force, you need to know the area. Divide force with area, you get the stress, because that is what the question is. Pressure is nothing but force by area. Force is given by this weight, so it is basically m into g. It is basically m into g. Area, for that area, this is given 10 centimeter square, so 10 into 10 to the power minus 4 meter square. That's all. Force, area, pressure, or stress. Stress, pressure, same thing, right? Pressure is generally used for fluids, stress is generally used for solids. That's the difference. So you can find it out. Okay, next question. Two syringes, different sections, connected, diameters are given. Find the force exerted on the larger piston when force is applied on the smaller piston is pushed. How much is the larger? Okay, so smaller piston like this and larger piston like this, and this is one here, this is one here. So guys, you are applying some force here, some force will come here. This might move by some x1 here, this will move by x2 here, okay, and this will have some area over here, this will have some area over here. The logic used over here is Pascal's law. Pascal's law, which says that P1 and P2 will be equal. Pressure is force by area, that's all you need to do. F1 by A1 is equal to F2 by A2. You know F1, you know A1, you know A2, you don't know F2. That's all. So that's how you find the force on the other piston or the other cylinder. Cool? 2 by A2, small force, small area, large force, large area. That's all. So you will see that in this particular question, that when you want to lift a large car, the area will be large to lift it. That's it. So pressure, which is force by area, will be a constant. So that's all that is done over here. F1 by A1 is F2 by A2. You can see that right over here. P1 is equal to P2. That's all. P1 is F1 by A1. P2 is F2 by A2. That's all you need to do. What is the pressure of a swimmer 10 meters below the surface of the water? 10 meters below the surface of the water. What is the formula that you will use? What is the formula that will use? Pressure inside is P naught plus rho g h. Outside pressure is roughly 10 to the power 5. Density of water 10 to the power 3. G value 10, h value 10. Substitute, I think you will get it, probably 2 atm or 2 into 10 to the power 5. Yes, that's it. That's the answer. Density of water, gravity and height below. That is the hydrostatic pressure formula. Density of atmosphere at sea level is this much. Assume that it does not change with altitude. How high will the atmosphere extend? Basically, if you go up, somewhere the pressure will be 0. And here the pressure is P naught. This is height h. So 0 is P naught minus rho g h. So that's it. H will be equal to P naught by rho g. P naught is basically 10 to the power 5. Density is 1.29. G is basically 10. Approximately assume that gravity etc. does not change with height too much. That's all. You will get it as 8 kilometers, which is very less. We know that density reduces, gravity reduces. So that's the reason why atmosphere extends till almost 2 to 300 kilometers. 2 to 300 kilometers. Correct. Very good. Let's move on. Next question. At a depth of 1000 meters in the ocean, absolute pressure, gauge pressure, force acting on a submarine interior which is maintained at atmospheric pressure. Okay, so what is the absolute pressure? So use this for option A. P is equal to P naught plus rho g h. Outside pressure you know, rho you know, g you know, h you know. Gauge pressure. So for the second part, gauge pressure is nothing but this pressure minus the atmospheric pressure. So P minus P naught, which is basically rho g h. Now the question is, what is the force acting on the window? Assume that interior is maintained at atmospheric pressure. So from outside, you are getting P plus rho GH. From inside, you are getting P naught. So the difference is only rho GH, and that is what is creating the force also. That is what is creating the force also. So for the third part, the force will be the gauge pressure into the area. The gauge pressure into the area. The area is given because you know the sides. Gauge pressure you know, multiply it, you will get the force value. Yes, absolute pressure is P naught plus rho GH. Gauge pressure is P naught minus P, which is rho GH. The force acting on the window is pressure difference into area. Area I know, and rho GH is the gauge pressure. Substitute it, you will get the answer in newtons. You will get the answer in newtons. Okay? Very good. Excellent. Awesome. Awesome. Let's move on to the next one. What does it say? Oops. I think, yeah. A fully loaded Boeing has certain mass, wing area is also given, and it is going at some speed. Pressure difference between low and up end, estimate the fractional change of the speed. So this is also very standard model of question. Whatever is the weight of the aeroplane should be balanced by the Bernoulli's principle, pressure difference force. The upper air and the lower air will move at different speeds, because of which the pressure difference is created and the force will create the lift. So the lift will directly be equal to the weight, and you know the mass, you know the gravity, so you can get the force. And this force is pressure difference into area is equal to mg. So you will get directly the pressure difference as mg divided by A. So that's how you can estimate the pressure difference, as simple as that. Okay, that's how this question is also solved. Moving on, a structural steel rod has certain radius and length. Some newtons of force is acting along the length. Find the stress, elongation, strain, and Young's modulus is also given to you. So force is given, length is given, radius is given, stress is asked. So first thing, for the stress is force by area. Force by area. Area is basically pi r square. Force is given to you? Yes. Area is given to you? Yes, because radius is given. So from this you can find sigma, which is the stress. Next part, elongation and the strain. Young's modulus is given, right? Definitely. Young's modulus is stress by strain. So strain will be nothing but stress by Young's modulus. Stress I know from here. Young's modulus is already given 2 into 10 to the power 11. That will give you the strain. That will give you the strain. Once you know the strain, you can find the elongation also. Elongation by original length is the strain. So elongation is strain multiplied by the original length. Strain, you can get it from here. Original length is basically 1. So that will give you the elongation as well. That's all. That is what is done. Yes, the same thing has been done. Right? So direct application of formulas, my dear warriors. Correct. Very good. Cool. Let's go to the next one on your screen. A copper wire of certain length, diameter, wire length, okay, steel wire are connected end to end. When stretched by load, the net elongation is found to be this much. Obtain the load applied. Okay, so basically you have a copper wire and then you have a steel wire. What will be same in both of them is the tension, is basically the tension. The total elongation is found to be 0.7. So what do you do in this particular case? What do you do in this particular case to find the total elongation? Come on, think about it. How do you find the individual elongations? Because they will also not be the same. The copper wire's length and steel wire's length are also different. Both diameter are at least same. Okay, so in order to find that force, what I can do, let's say this elongates by x1, let's say this elongates by x2, and we all know stress is, or sorry, not stress. Young's modulus is stress by strain. Stress is force by area. Elongation is change in length by original length. So x is basically y a y. So x is equal to, sorry, x is equal to f into you will have L on the top and A and Y below, FL by AY. Yes, this is correct. X is basically FL by AY. So x1 will be equal to tension because that's the force. Length is also different. By area is the same at least, and Young's modulus is different. X2 will be tension L2 divided by A into Y2. Now if you add these two, what do you get? If I add x1 plus x2, I'll get the total elongation. So T is common, A is also common. So L1 by Y1 plus L2 by Y2 is equal to the total elongation, which is 0.7 millimeters. So 0.7 into 10 to the power minus 3. Do I know the tension? No. Area? Yes. How? Diameter. Length 1? Yes. Y1? Yes. L2? Yes. Y2? Yes. If you are wondering where is Young's modulus given, it will be given in the table. In the exam, it will be directly given in the question. Remember, this is NCERT question, so that's why refer to the table. So that's it. So to find the load applied, that means you have to find how much tension is applied. Everything is known here. Solve this and you will get the answer. That is what I think they have also done. Yes, solving the above equations. They have added the extension 1 plus extension 2 is the total extension. That's it. That's what you have done. Square lead slab thickness 10 is subjected to shearing force. Lower edge is riveted. How much upper edge will displace? Question on shear force. Question basically on your shear force, guys. So if it goes like this, this is X, this is L. You have applied the force here. Remember, shear modulus is shear stress by shear strain. That's it. So how much will be the value of X? X will be F and GA will be here, L will be here. Do I know the force? Yes. Do I know the distance? Yes. Do I know the area? Yes, because the side length is given, I know the area also. Do I know G? Square lead. Lead is given, so see the table. In the table, the value of G will be given. Shear modulus of lead. Substitute everything, you will get the answer. In fact, the area will be L into L. One of the L will also get cancelled because it is a square lead slab. Square lead slab. So how much will the upper side move by? That's all you had to do. Right? Cool. Let's move ahead to the next one. The average depth of Indian Ocean is this much. Calculate the fractional compression of water at the bottom of the ocean given the bulk modulus is this much. Okay. So bulk modulus is the change in pressure upon relative change in volume. That is bulk strain. So I want to find delta V by delta V by V, which is nothing but delta P by B. Delta P is rho GH. So rho GH by B. I know density, I know G, I know H, I know bulk modulus. Bulk modulus is 2.2 10 to the power 9. Density of water, I think we have to take it as 10 to the power 3. G is 10, height is 3000. Height is basically 3000. Solve this, you will get the answer. That's all. So you had to find delta V by V. I use the bulk modulus formula, and this is the part where I use fluid mechanics formula. Change in pressure is rho GH. That's all. Cool. Moving on to the next one. A metallic block of some area is connected to another mass passing over an ideal pulley. A liquid with a film of this much is placed between the block and the table, and when released, the block moves to the right with some speed. Find the coefficient of viscosity of the liquid. So basically here, is it moving with a constant speed? Yes. If it is moving with constant speed, acceleration is 0. That means the tension should be balancing the viscous force. And the tension should be also equal to the weight, which is 0.01 G. So viscous force is equal to tension is equal to 0.01 G. 0.01 into 10 is 0.1. Viscous force is eta A dV by dx. Do I know these values? Let's find out. Area is known. Yes, area is given. Area is definitely given over here. dV by dx. Velocity, yes. The velocity change is given as 0.085. The layer thickness, dV by dx, film thickness 0.3. Yes, it is also given 0.3 millimeters, so 10 to the power minus 3. Everything is given, find out eta. That's all. The last part is to find out how much is the coefficient of viscosity. There you go. That's it. You get the answer. Moving on. Terminal speed of a ball of some radius and a tank is given. Coefficient of viscosity is asked. Density of oil is given. Density of copper is given. Direct formula of terminal velocity. That's it. So it is 2 by 9 r square g, and eta is there, sigma minus rho. Everything is given. Speed of the ball 6.5 centimeters per second. So convert it into meters per second. So into 10 to the power minus 2. 2 is there, 9 is there. R radius. The radius is 2 millimeters. So 2 into 10 to the power minus 3 whole square. G 10. Eta don't know. Sigma, density of oil, density of copper. Copper's density is 8.9. Density of oil is 1.5. The whole thing into 10 to the power 3. That's it. Everything is substituted. You just have to solve this and find the value of eta. Is that right, everyone? Got it? Very good. Very good. Excellent. Awesomeness. So, yes, that's it. Right. The lower end of a capillary tube is dipped in 8 centimeters below the surface of the water in a beaker. What is the pressure required in the tube in order to blow a hemispherical bubble at the end of the water? The surface tension is this much, atmospheric pressure is this much, density of water is this much, G is this much, calculate the excess pressure. So, lower end of a capillary tube of diameter is dipped 8 centimeters below the surface of the water. What is the pressure required in the tube in order to blow a hemispherical bubble at the end in the water? So in this particular question, first of all, try to visualize what exactly might be happening. First, visualize what exactly might be happening over here. Think about it. Okay. First of all, this is your capillary tube. This is the water outside. At some depth h, the lower end of the capillary tube, diameter dipped 8 centimeters below. Okay, so basically this is 8 centimeters below, and the diameter is given to be how much? 2 millimeters. Okay, what is the pressure required in the tube in order to blow hemispherical bubble at its end? So you blow from here, so you are blowing from the top end so that there is a hemispherical bubble like this formed, hemispherical bubble which is formed like this. Okay, what is the pressure required in the tube in order to blow a hemispherical bubble at its end in the water? Okay, the surface tension of water and the temperature of the experiments, this. Okay, so first of all, you know, at this point over here, if the pressure over here is P naught, at this point it will be P naught plus rho GH. Now for a bubble, on the concave side the pressure is more. On the concave side, that means here the pressure is more. By how much? 2s by r. Outside pressure is P naught plus rho GH. P naught plus rho GH. You add to it 2s by r. 2s by r. That is basically your excess pressure because of the surface tension. So that is the pressure inside the bubble, which is the pressure with which you should blow. Whatever pressure of the air is there, you are blowing in is accumulating here. So that is the pressure with which you will blow. That is how this question has to be solved. I think that's what they have done. Yeah, PA plus rho GH plus 2s by r. Substituting everything, you get it. And excess pressure, I just told you, it is 2s by r. You might be wondering, sir, why is it not 4s by r? See, 4s by r is when the bubble is in air. But when the bubble is in water, then it is 2s by r, because only one surface is open to the air. When it is in air, inside and outside both surfaces, two surfaces are there. That's when it becomes 4s by r. Okay, I hope this is very, very clear. Moving on. Okay, so now this is 12th standard, whatever questions are there, I would advise you check out my 12th standard board series. You will get everything. But I have done one good thing for all of you. And the good thing is, I have kept all the in-text questions, whatever are important, as a collection so that you can solve. Right till semiconductors. Right till semiconductors. Okay. So do not forget to download this PDF from Telegram, or in description box also. I think the link will come within some time. Okay. Cool. And if you still want to take advantage of the crash course, remember the link is there in the description box below. It's just there for 999 rupees. You want to revise any topics, you feel that no sir, I'm not happy with my current level of preparation, there are few topics which are still remaining, you still have the chance to revise the topics in the crash course, solve more questions as practice, and also get additional tests for your rank improvement. It's just there for 999. Link is there in the description box. So I hope you all enjoyed this session where we solved maximum questions from in-text NCERT for your NEET. So I will see you again tomorrow for a formula session. I will revise the entire physics formulas, right? It's going to be a recorded class because it's a 6 hours class approximately. So make sure that you check it out. Tomorrow it will be up on the channel. Okay. God bless you all. Do not forget to like and share. This is Captain Shreyas signing off. Bye bye.